Okay, so we've gathered our supplies and our extra cats. And we're going to move our extra cats. Or at least one of them. We have our existing summer home. And you can see how it fits into the other container. It is Kuiper approved. Now, what we're going to do is we're going to fit insulation around it. We know that it is 26 inches long. 15 inches wide. And 16 and a half inches tall. So, you can't see it. But over here, you should be able to see it now. I have blue rigid R3 insulation. I also have some of this. This is, it's insulation. I don't know how to explain it, but it's insulation. It's foil covered bubble wrap. That's exactly what it is. I'm going to use that around the opening of this and the exterior. So I'm going to go ahead and pause the video, cut it, remove the cat from the cedar, you know, simple things. Okay, FYI, if you're a perfectionist in watching this, or if you have OCD in watching this, I will drive you crazy. Okay, so I have one piece cut. I'm going to pull this out. And I'm going to cram it into the side. And, oops, it's too big. I need to trim it down a little. So I'm going to pull it out. I have a handy dandy razor knife. Yes, I know better than to cut towards me. So I'm going to cut away from me. That loud crash you heard behind me was Prue. You remember Prue? Queen of Crash. So, still having a little problem. It's down at this corner. I'm going to cut that off. And looky there. Now we're going to put this back in and see how much room I have on the other side. Not a lot. See, I have not a lot. So what I'm going to have to do is I'm going to have to bow it out to put another piece in.
You can't say everyone, David. You know that.
But that's okay. Because we're not here to be perfect. What I did is I stood it up, kind of eyeballed it, and cut. This stuff is really easy to cut. So like foam board, if you do crafts, it's a lot like the stuff we use for crafts. Only covered with plastic. Okay. Now, I'm going to shove and shove some more until we get this in. See? It's in. Now you think, what about all that space on the bottom? Oh yeah, a lot of space on the bottom. Well, that's where this comes in at. Actually, that's where something else comes in at. And I'm gonna run out to the shed. Okay, so, as you saw, there's an awful lot of space. Now, as you see, there is this teeny roll of pink stuff sitting here. Well, it turns out that I had a roll of insulation in the shed that part of it got wet recently. And something I couldn't use. Well, I'm going to use that to fill up the void in the bottom. If you have children, you know how impossible it can be to find scissors. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to measure it out and cut it.
Just like a petri dish. Thought you had a few days off. What's the case?
Got some missing kids.
Guess you gotta go in then, huh?
Please don't walk away like that. We've talked about this. I know this is hard on you.
I'm using
Not all
safety
of us.
scissors
But if I had someone to cover my shifts, I would.
to cut insulation.
What if it was him?
No.
Isn't that smart?
He was right in
What if it was? Your son out there looking for him.
Okay, so there's some insulation from the bottom. R13, so it's going to be nice and toasty.
I know, I'll tell them.
Anything that's left over can be used to build another one of these.
He's not feeling well.
You can work it all back down in. And you know what? I think I'm going to take some of that R13 and wedge it in back here too. Wedge it in back here. That'll make it nice and warm for the kitties for midnight, or whoever else decides to use it. So while I'm going to do that, you don't want to see me cut it, so I'm going to go ahead and stop the recording and cut it. Okay, so we're back, and I put some pink insulation back here. When this is closed up, it won't be able to get wet. And this in the front is going to have this over it, so it's not going to be able to get wet too. Now, we have to make a cut in the front here. And believe me, this is not as easy as it's ever going to look.
That's tomorrow.
I'm kind of roughing it out,
What's in season matters. What you do with it matters more.
scratching it. As you can see, I'm scratching
The sight of baby back ribs.
how big I want it.
In 3 days.
A lot of people don't make them this big, but y'all have seen pictures of Midnight. He's a pretty big kitty. Most all of them that hang around out here are pretty big kitties. So, I want it big enough so that they can get in.
Have you been in an accident here in Atlanta? Are you hurt? I help injured people.
So, as you can see, it's pretty big. And is actually directly through.
Basically the same thing.
So I have
I would definitely recommend
the saw
it's true.
in here,
Really good.
and I'm going to
Oh, that's all.
Ken wins.
saw it open.
If your family has ever had the flu, you know it can be a real horror. When flu symptoms are this severe, you feel dreadful.
And as you can see, this is not easy.
Family vaccinated with latest quadrivalent, where it typically starts. Just one dose per antiviral helps block you from the 4 strains of the flu included.
It's not for the faint of heart.
Turning your nose into a fighting force. It's the only needle-free nasal spray vaccine for eligible kids and adults ages 2 through 49. It's not for people allergic to eggs, other vaccine ingredients, prior flu vaccines, or for children and teens taking aspirin or products with aspirin. Health conditions including Guillain-Barré syndrome, a weakened immune system, diabetes, pregnancy, heart, kidney, or lung disease may exclude you from getting it.
Your hand up in the way so you don't saw it.
This 19-year-old flashback of fear. The 11 Alive investigators Wednesday at 11.
Like I said, it's not easy, but anything worth having is not easy, is it?
Tournament of Champions. 7:30 on Alive.
And now that you see how to do it, go ahead and turn this down and
Or anxiety.
come back when I've got it cut.
In the shower door and lock.
Okay,
He's good.
welcome back.
He's so long.
You see? We have the whole cut. And now we have to deal with the space here. We have insulation that we're going to cut pieces of and shove in there.
He is stuck by her through 70 diagnoses, constant doctor's appointments, and medication, where she
Again,
sleeps all day.
if you're a perfectionist and you're OCD, this is not the video for you.
Sicknesses and behaviors has affected my life in the sense that it requires a lot of my time. I mean, she can't function any day. I believe it's a very selfish thing for Shamita to not allow me the time to be there for my kids. I do feel resentful for the fact that
Just kind of eyeballing it, not measuring it. Not the way to do a tutorial. Got it.
She goes through. My family's way of
Put
life
this one
is
in behind it.
feel robbed
Take up some
of the
space.
mother of my children and a wife that I married.
You see how Dad has to take care
Now we're going to give it over to the other side.
of you? How you're loving it? How on that videotape showing you're better, you're so lively, but on this stage you can be? How you're so
We had a visitor show up while I was in here doing this. There's a beautiful black cat outside who's eating.
When you were in her presence, and you thought that you have in the past, this is the deal.
Okay, I'm glad you're here. I'm sorry if you come out in the middle of
You may want more,
with being here, and thank you for
so I may have to
putting the doctor.
stop the video and go feed him some more.
The position that I've asked her to consider
Okay,
is whether
so you can see
is
that it's pretty filled up now.
dealing with
Now I'm going to take this
legitimate physiological anomalies in such a
smaller
way
piece.
that's crippling her mentally and emotionally and robbing her of her life.
Roll it up so that it fits
Which is why
in this gap.
It's not just about amassing illnesses, it's also about congratulating. It's about overreacting to illness. It's about letting it define you and consume you. You, in my
That will protect that
consumed by it.
insulation on the bottom
If you
from getting wet
for the 70 diagnoses,
and
a vast majority of them
stop him
do stress people.
from
They're brought on by stress.
stepping into
They're worked
a hole.
by stress. They're triggered by stress, exacerbated by stress. And why? Because the stress has not been dealt with. You have had trauma in your life. And in my opinion, you've never dealt with it. You didn't deal with it psychologically. You dealt with it somatically. You dealt with it physically. So the stress
See, he's got a nice
bubbles up,
spot there.
bubbles up. And, okay, let's
Now.
just find another way to express it.
In this bag,
It
it says cedar.
Conversion.
Go ahead and put that back in.
That's what's going on. And anybody that just keeps telling her, oh, yeah, somebody's just doing it, you might as well be poisoning her. You might as well be poisoning her. She needs to face the truth and reality and not be enabled to continue to hide behind illness and disease.
Push it around.
Or not. I could be wrong. I'm not, but I could be.
Put the old lid back on.
She asked me the question. I'm not a good therapist. It's me. After everything I just said, your response is somebody.
Yes, Zachary?
What do you think about
I'm
your
just going in here to
response?
get 2 paper plates.
Okay.
I'm making you an epic creation. It's what it's. I'm going to make you a car.
Okay.
You see my
Well,
point?
sort of a car.
Tree to that thing
I just need to.
that is real.
I'm going to make
You
you
do
wheels.
have
Now we have
physical
epic problem. We have to smoosh everything down so that this lid
They are not life
fits.
consuming. They do not
So while I do that, I'm going to go ahead and turn off the video so as not to bore you.
20 hours a day. And
Okay,
you've
so
been there for your mother. You
had a bit of an issue
give her shots at 13.
and
She
had to improvise. So, in good old Marine Corps fashion, improvised, overcame, and I adapted.
And it is certainly
The lid is now being held on
to you
good old fashioned duct tape.
a distinction between
You can see,
what you're doing.
nice and cozy in there, nice and dry.
What you're doing that may be sabotaging
And
or actually enables
I'm actually going to take this off of the tripod
That's not your decision. That's not
so you can
you decide. And you just have to
see in there and get a good look at it.
what I will tell you from an objective standpoint,
And there you go.
in my view,
He has a new outer shell
your mother
to his house.
focus and attention
I hope it was helpful.
rather than more.
If not, feel free to yell at me in the comments.
See you
Thanks. Bye.
strap it